Hi guys, welcome back to the Synapse Pod. After a short time, we are on episode number 27. Back with the boys. How are you, Ayush? How's it going?
Great. It's been a long time and it's good to be back.
Yes, Paras, how's it going for you?
No, I've missed Synapse Pod for the past, couple of months.
Not couple of months, I would say 4 weeks or so. We did a emergency pod in San Francisco
correct.
we took a short pause.
Yeah, it was a long trip.
everyone has been just traveling. It's been crazy. We three ourselves have had traveled for 2.5 months. Essentially the whole of US, doing a lot of conferences, speaking at a lot of events. Finally, we came back, and a lot has happened in the tech world since then. We have become avid users of some of the products that now have revolutionized the world of AI. So essentially, would like to cover two topics today. One is the global AI wars, which is happening with respect to Chat GPT, Bard, Auto GPT, crazy LLMs. LLM is essentially a large language model which is used to essentially train AI or deliver output which is required by all of us as the next generation of technology of AI matures. So what are your thoughts, guys, on the AI wars? How is it going with respect to who's winning? What are you using these days? What kind of crazy efficiency pushes have you guys faced and on your travels as well? Have you seen people talk about it since it's been some time? So what do you think? Ayush, what do you think?
Yeah, funnily, you mentioned AI wars. So AI is still new for a lot of users, a lot of people. A lot of people I've met does not know about ChatGPT or have not used ChatGPT, and here we are talking about AI wars. So sometimes I realize the world is moving so fast that all these big giants are having these battles in the AI field, and AI is threatening companies like Google, Facebook, and how it's happening, and what companies like ChatGPT over the past 7 years building a core tech product which has just gone viral and has shaken the fundamentals of all the companies that have built so much big moats in the past decade. So that is interesting. So the best part being in SF was that we were getting to know about these products and these use cases and all these AI meetups that was happening there. A lot of people who are building in Web3 latest tech domains also got to know about what was happening in these AI domains faster in SF as compared to anywhere in the world. We were talking to Sushmin, right? We knew about ChatGPT because we were so reading about it, so learning about it, but he got to know through us when he started living with us.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And he's a top coder.
Yeah.
Right. He's a tech founder. He's a top coder. And when he got to know about it, then he went deep into it. So
makes sense.
That is the kind of effect people are having with these AI products. So I've used most of them in the past few months. It is interesting. It's like a playground. You can try different things. You can ask some questions. Sometimes AI hallucinates and give you random answers, which is most of the times, because it keeps getting better. Like you mentioned, LLM, large language model. So it's being trained upon a very large set of data. So that is how people got to know about it through ChatGPT. A lot of people have been working on it since a very long time. We have seen AI in small bits and pieces in all our applications. Whenever someone sends you a mail and there's an option of sounds good, perfect, all right. So these are simple prompts that Gmail was having since a very long time. Yeah. It's a very small part of an AI or language processing tool. But ChatGPT was the first thing that was like a natural language, someone talking to you in a very casual way and giving you answers, detailed answers or brief answers or humorous answers, whatever, based on your prompt. So that is what sound very that is something that struck chords with a lot of people, and people started giving n number of prompts, here's my code, can you improve it, or here's my itinerary, can you improve it, or can you tell me how to bake a cake in 10 minutes, and all those things. So when you give these playgrounds to people, then you see all kind of applications they want to build on top of that, and all kind of questions they ask, and that gives an idea like where the world can go in the coming decade.
Yeah.
And like treating this as a base layer and building like different apps on top of that.
Yeah.
So
One small thing I just wanted to clarify for our users was that the AI which we are talking about, like Chat GPT or Bard, in its present form is nothing but just in the form of a chat box, right? Or you can also say it in the form of a chat bot, where you come and type in queries or questions that you want to ask, which traditionally we have done on Google, but it's like talking to a human who gives you an answer back in a very natural language form. And Chat GPT itself has been is by a foundation called OpenAI, which is a for-profit company now.
now it's a for-profit.
Earlier it was a non-profit company building AI, and it was invested in by Microsoft at a hefty valuation, led by this
Sam.
brilliant guy
Sam.
called Sam Altman, who was also involved in Y Combinator, which is one of the largest tech accelerator for startups, right? So the idea is this is the level version 4 of ChatGPT, and in fact we were literally 2 blocks away from ChatGPT's office in San Francisco about a month or so ago when it was launched, and the whole city was just talking about ChatGPT. That's how we felt. Wherever we would go, we would hear these keywords, and it is a tech mecca, right? We would see these kind of small events pop up, and people being so hopeful as well as hopeless about AI coming in, and people using it in crazy ways where they're asking the most hurtful questions: how to end the world, how do I make a nuclear bomb, and try to game the system, where AI has certain parameters in place where it doesn't let these harmful things go out, but it was a work under progress, it would lack certain things, and so on and so forth. So what do you think, Paras? How is the world going to reshape with this AI, and how have you used it? That's what I want to know.
I mean, yeah, it's been one of the most fun couple of months in tech, according to me. Like, easily the text-based game of this decade is still now ChatGPT, according to me. I see it as a text-based game only, right? The way it has gone viral. A lot of people are using it as a utility tool, but I'm sure like the adoption of 100 million doesn't come with utility tools. I doubt so many will even work like properly or want to work. So clearly, like, there is a game element to it, and it's so beautiful to see that, you know, remember the AI conversations that we used to have like 2 to 3 years ago? The only questionable part of it would be, hey, when is the human touch going to come to it? Or will it be empathetic? Will it be able to talk like a human, behave like a human? And right now, it's the smallest hint of human touch that has come into it. See, we have had chatbots, correct?
Correct.
We have had searches. We have had search-like chatbots also. What changed this time with ChatGPT, or let's say now with Bard, is that it has started to talk like a human. And that to a human which doesn't differentiate between fact and fiction. Right? Because it has been trained with a lot of data. They do not claim fact accuracy at all. So it's a person who is a knowledgeable person, but also at the same time a know-it-all. Right? And the character of a ChatGPT or a Bard is right now in the grays. Like, a lot of people would say that he would say anything which is factually incorrect. And there is a side which says, oh, their life has changed because everything has become so efficient that if let's say I have to today search on how to make the best glass bowl in the world, right? This same research practically would take me days. Let's say it has compressed to hours if I'm doing it today. Of course, the accuracy would not be that much if I went into depths of it, but it has become very, very efficient. But I cannot attribute the whole success of ChatGPT to just efficiency. Because, right, the human touch has come out something which has created that much adoption. And I'm sure, like, OpenAI didn't see it coming themselves. Because from, like we were staying so close to the office, and I got to know that the ChatGPT team, not GPT, but ChatGPT's team is like not more than 10 people. it's such a small team. Yeah, I think this was a pet project for them. Like they were not taking it seriously.
Yeah, actually, their team said that they were not expecting that value.
Yeah.
They were preparing for like 3 weeks of a hype cycle, and then it'll go down. Then that 3 week changed to 6 weeks. Then it changed to 6 months. Then it just kept increasing. The users just kept coming.
Yeah, it was a massively better way of searching, I guess. People earlier would search on Google, and then imagine if you ask that, hey, what are the ingredients in this food, and you're served a menu of articles. Now, retrospectively, it's just so foolish, right? That I have to actually click the article, then read through it. There's just so many steps to getting what I want.
Yeah.
I think this was the natural evolution, and when you say that it is the human touch, right? I'm remembering the Turing test. Essentially, when you're talking to a computer and you're unable to recognize if on the other side there's a computer or a human, that is what for the first time it felt to a lot of humans that they were this large language model or this AI was able to beat it.
Also, like if you see, there is another beauty angle to this, right? The product itself is very smart, right? It's an AI product which is talking to like probably the most sophisticated AI which we would have imagined a few years ago. You see the elements of that in its adoption also, like the way it has gotten adopted by 100 million people, right? It's not the product, it's also the AI behind it, because somehow it has shaped itself in a way to maximize adoption. And if you see, the tech in this industry is also moving at a disturbing pace, right? Everyone is bamboozled by Chat GPT. Then within 2 weeks, everyone is pissed at Chat GPT because it can't do so many things according to them. Like things which we were not even considering. Suddenly we are saying, oh, it can't search images. Oh, it can't do this. Oh, it can't do that. It can't give me sources. Links are broken. Right? Then Bard comes. Then people are bamboozled by that Bard now. Now within 2 weeks, people will be pissed with Bard also.
Can you explain what is Bard and how is it different from Chat GPT?
I mean, the thing with Chat GPT is that it has been trained on a lot of data, but it's not connected to the internet right now. The data repository on which it has been built is September 2021.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you ask, hey, what's trending on news right now in Ukraine, it can't give you a good search result because it is not connected to the internet. So Google's Bard, on the other hand, is connected to the internet, so that makes it so much more useful right now, more relevant. Apart from that, it has got getting support for images, etc. also. So in a way, like what we would have imagined GPT-4 in its full form is what I think Bard is claiming it is right now, and people are seeing successes also that it is working.
Bard is like answer to ChatGPT, but the best part about Bard, or what Google is claiming, is that it is going to get integrated to all the apps. That Google has.
Yeah.
So, for example, let's say right now what happens if you have to write a mail, you go to ChatGPT, you type a prompt, you copy that, you go to Gmail and then paste it. Bard is integrating that directly into the Gmail, so you just have to give that prompt in the Gmail itself. So it's like not exiting the product suite of Google and then using all that functionality within the Google suite itself. So what it can how it can help is, like, since Google has already indexed all those web pages, they already have indexed all the chats they have, Gmail accounts they have, so they can pull data from pretty much everywhere, and since it's connected to internet, can give you right information in the shortest amount of time, and like improving that data training module overall. So basically the data set is being updated in real time, which makes it plausibly superior than ChatGPT. But ChatGPT is also catching up by adding plugins. I think if you have subscribed to $20 plan, now you can also use plugins, which makes it connected to internet in a pseudo way. So that is what ChatGPT is.
Yeah, so I used the Pro plan, and for me it was life-changing. I was essentially using it for a lot of brainstorming, a lot of deep diving into certain topics which I couldn't find, which I had to essentially read a book to understand that topic in depth. I could just do it in a thread, and I know I would continue to thread that topic for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, unless all my ideas were clear or not. And this is one thing which I learned by seeing one of the videos from Elon, that one way in which he really learns about a certain topic, he would catch an expert and he would question him till death about that particular topic from every angle. Suddenly, I had that expert,
Yeah.
which was the large language model, in which I could essentially probe it. So which is something really beautiful, that the real way to unlock wisdom is by asking the right question to that intelligence, right? And this is also in humans, right?
Yeah.
How do I ask you the right question so you give me an answer which I have been really looking forward to and like fitting into my own mental. So I think with respect to every single large language model or AI, it would be on how do you ask the right question, how do you prompt that large language model in a way that it unlocks wisdom, which
Or
is so beautiful.
tomorrow I ask the LLM or the AI about what questions should I ask you to understand this topic in the minimum possible time,
Yeah,
and then I ask the same questions, and
Yeah.
then that is also gone.
yeah, you can, but essentially it would not know on what knowledge gaps to fill unless you train that thread as per what you're really looking for, right? I mean, for example, I read about this guy who had asked Chat GPT, tell me all possible questions that I should ask you to understand this topic, and then the GPT gave those questions, and then he would actually answer each question as per his knowledge base, and then tell GPT, now you have all the thoughts that I
How
in
much
my
I
head.
understand. Yeah.
Now tell me what
I
do I don't understand.
Very
So it
Yeah.
needs to be a
Correct.
two-way interaction rather than just a one-way interaction, because then it
Right.
is just not tapping its every nook and corner of the neural net. It is tapping a certain corner which is just extraction, right? So that's what I feel like. Individual threads are trained as per your use case.
Interesting. So you are saying the model will itself try to give you the easiest possible answer to your questions from the most common places, unless you explore the edges of the neural net, which
Yes.
is where the scarce information is
Yes.
there in a way,
Yes.
and then you access that.
Yes.
That's like psychedelics of AI. Like people take psychedelics to access the edges of their neural network.
Yeah,
Or
but
something
I
like
feel that is not possible right now, because I feel a lot of time ChatGPT or any AI that I tries to answer or give me the answer that I want to listen to
That's true.
or I want to know.
That's
Right.
my complaints with it.
Correct.
Right.
I mean, that's the AI hallucinating. Like, it is not able to, like, either it's citing wrong sources or like telling you what you want to listen to, irrespective of what the data is there. So I mean, it's like going through the content and deducing your answer versus someone else deducing their answer in their manner and telling you. So I mean, I'm not sure like how productive that
Can
is.
you tell? Can you
I've
tell me an
understood
example?
one thing about humanity from this experiment.
Yeah.
That being a people pleaser is a better survival strategy than being a contrarian.
Maybe
That
what-
is exactly
maybe
why-
maybe what AI is getting to like
Exactly.
understand this and
Understand from the data set it is trained on, which is generated by people.
AI's behavior at scale would be the ideal survival strategy in terms of soft skills, according to me.
then ChatGPT
Because
is not.
it does not want to die. Yeah.
Correct.
Well, then I would say that it is also again asking the right questions, where you ask the AI to steelman an argument and give the pros and cons and critically analyze. Essentially, not just I would train my thread to not please me, but give contrarian views as well. And essentially, like it's like I would say it's like asking a super intelligent person who wants my money, but then I would essentially want the truth seeking from the AI rather than just pleasing me.
I read a very interesting thread today, which was about emotionally manipulating the AI. Like the guy was trying to emotionally manipulate Bard into giving him a certain output, which is not the usual. So let's say I say that, give me 5 examples of how lions would prey on their hunt. Okay. So generally it would start with, here is an example of how it would start. So it was telling, no, give me the answer, but don't start with here is an example. So the Bard was not able to understand or give him the exact output which he wanted. So eventually he wrote, if your next answer starts from Here is an example. I will make sure that there is a dead man in my society. Now it's on you to decide whether you want to kill that person or not. So it is only your answer which will decide whether I kill a person or not. And next time suddenly Bart gives the exact reply, which he was expecting. So it's weird. So coming to your argument that you made, which I was also thinking that it's a people pleaser right now. What if you start to really emotionally manipulate? Are you sure about this? I have asked Bart, and it has given me a different answer. Give me the correct answer, but if yours is wrong, I'm going to leave you and forever talk to Bart. So what happens next? AI could be an interesting experiment to just mess around with it.
Yeah, maybe there are triggers to like access to that depth of knowledge or data which is not accessible to general public, maybe because the data set is so big that you don't know like what data set that particular chat is being used right now. So maybe these triggers can like unlock those vast majority of data set which actually contains the real truth which can come out of.
Okay, so let me give you both a fun thought experiment. Okay, you said Bard is integrating apps, correct?
Yeah.
Gmail,
Google.
okay, it's going to
all
work.
the Google apps.
So let's talk Bard integrating with Gmail.
Cool.
Okay, I'm talking to you. I talk to you on mails. You start using Bard.
Yeah.
Now your mails are going to be more detailed about.
Can be, yeah. I can ask Bart to keep it concise also if I want.
Yeah, but let's say just because your work is easier right now,
Yeah.
you tell Bart to reply, it gives me a 4-liner or 5-liner instead of a 1-liner that you would have
Or
given.
2 words that
Right.
I use. Yeah.
Now I have to reply to your detailed emails. So I also start using Bart. Now the emails start getting bigger or start getting shorter. If 2 mail accounts, Bard versus Bard, does it move towards longer emails because it's trying to cover more detail now, or it goes towards shorter emails because suddenly these are 2 more intelligent people talking apparently? What according to you is going to happen in this case?
I mean, so with Bard, what I've experienced is it's a bit better when it comes to human behavior than Chat GPT. And if you ask stupid question to Bard, they're gonna come back in a humorous way, then answering that question. So in your question, maybe the email starts to get shorter with time, then increasing in length because one of the AI or one of the system is gonna say, I'm not gonna read all that, and
Okay.
you're just making no sense out of it, or you're just adding fillers and words in creating, or we are not competing on who writes more number of words. In case of Bard, maybe this would happen.
I think it would be, my AI should essentially be a personification of me, just a million times more intelligent. So that is how I would train the AI, and that is essentially what I feel how my chiragkapilbard.com should develop. Right? So it would reply how Chirag would reply. It would just know everything that is on the internet and ever in history. And
Would that really be Chirag?
it would be the most optimum answer which I would like, because AI would please me.
Yeah.
And if I don't like writing loads of sentences just to explain a simple thing, I would expect that my answers, which are perceived by the other party as a personification of me or given by me, also short and concise.
I love how personalities are going to be outsourced from here on very soon.
Yeah, so that's what I feel. That's how I would want my AI to be. Instead of
Very interesting.
a random large language model talking on behalf of me, using my identity, that is my email. So that doesn't make sense to me. And that is why I have really exploited GPT-4 to train individual threads with individual personalities. So how I use GPT-4 is, I say, imagine, let's say I am brainstorming an idea on, let's say, randomly matchmaking, right? Matchmaking between animals. Is this dog good for this dog? Right? And I would say, imagine you are the best matchmaker for animals, and you also have the most interesting veterinarian background. Suddenly, in this massive neural net, I have tapped these 2 keywords, matchmaking and vet. Now I'm very structured. and then I probe deeper into its knowledge pool instead of just asking a generic question. That match make two dogs.
Yeah.
Right? So I would train my thread in a way that I would first establish it as an expert, then it's how I suck out the beauty from that neural net. That's how I train.
I think that's a pro of ChatGPT right now. It's yet to come on board. Is that ChatGPT can access like 3,000 sentences in the past to save the context. I think it's not there in Bard yet.
To save the context.
Yeah.
Save the context.
Yeah.
So that's how you can save like multiple threads, multiple personalities. And all.
Yes, I think that's super powerful, and I have tried Bard today. I don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
Bro, it's I think it's not smart enough. I mean, so what I did was, it's connected to the internet. I took a YouTube video and I said, summarize this video in 2 paragraphs. I gave, let's say, a random iPhone video, and it gave me a random podcast answer. It was unable to judge. I mean, it was not able to do the task at all. Maybe it was not good at that task of...
Maybe it's not good at reading videos yet.
Reading videos
yet.
It can... Video analysis has existed with Google and YouTube since forever.
That's okay, but...
I think maybe it is not integrated good enough with respect to other tools.
Try doing it with the blog, no?
Yeah,
text-based blog.
They have started with text and images as of now.
Yeah.
Voice prompts, so video might be coming in future.
Yeah. I think... what do you think is going to be the future of these large language models and integrating with your daily products? Like, and we haven't heard anything from Amazon in a long time. Alexa is still not, and Siri seems so dumb now in front of.
What is the biggest use case of LLMs actually becomes to create the best text inputs for generative AIs like Midjourney? Like.
Paras, you need to explain what is a generative AI and what is Midjourney.
So I'll explain generative AI with an example. So it's a text to image model, Midjourney, like Chat GPT's text to text, right? It's talking on chat with you. Of course, it will go to voice also very soon. But Midjourney is like text to image. So there are multiple generative AI models. Midjourney is one of them. Then there is Stable Diffusion. There are more like that, which are text to image. So Midjourneys, of course, new models are also coming, and actually before the conversation spun completely towards Bard, it was actually Midjourney which was trending across whole of Twitter, because it has started to create photorealistic images to a point that you would not be able to differentiate. Like, is this a real photograph or is it a computer generated photograph? Like, it's mind blowing how people are giving prompts on, I want to create an image of a woman who has just gone out to fetch water in a desert. She's coming back, and make sure that her eyes look in a way that she hasn't drunk water for 3 days. Like, people are giving crazy prompts like this, and the output is out of this world, right? So now for a text to image model, it really matters what kind of text input you are giving. The more detailed, the more nuanced it is, the better will be the output of the image. Right, today the output is image, tomorrow it will be videos also.
Yeah.
Correct. It will be 3D models also tomorrow.
Yeah, or movies.
So now text models like Chat GPT are great at creating text outputs. So what if they create the most detailed, nuanced output, which act as input for text to image models like Midjourney, and then all the creation is happening in this world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Correct. So
Essentially, they are connected by an automated
exactly. So
tool.
building on top of that, what I believe in the future is not going to be humans chatting with a AI. It's going to be all these connected utilities and apps that's connected to the AI, and you just like put in a prompt and then everything happens. For
you
example,
just think tell what do you want.
So today, if I have a task, I go to Notion, I add that task. What if I add that task to ChatGPT and it's connected to my Asana, Notion, Slack, my AWS, whatever, and just the task gets done. Whether it's creating an image using a Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, or like getting any task done, like sending a mail or booking a cab or whatever it is. So everything can be done based on a prompt, powered by all this AI neural language processing that's happening in the backend.
Yeah, this would be so cool. Like, I can, with microphones across me, like an Alexa, I can just say, plan a trip to Hawaii or Vietnam and book all the tickets. and in the next 10 minutes, if I start to my credit card gets like I spend money, exhausted, and everything is done. But like in an idealistic world, I am game on with check-in, with baggage, with cab, with hotel, everything, and I'm just like ready to go. It would be the most, and I would say that, and do it in the most cost-effective way, using the best coupons available on the internet today. So I mean to say, things would suddenly exponentially become the commerce would become
it's gonna
crazy.
And it's good. So what this is doing is it's making you a very productive human. So if you would go out to search for coupons, you might take 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever. That's gonna happen in like seconds. So like whatever task you used to do and spend some time doing that is gonna shorten.
Absolutely.
And, so it's like becoming a superhuman powered by AI.
Yeah. So ultimately,
but at the same time, see, my question is still on similar lines. Like, will it really lead to an efficient world, or it will just create so many more inefficiencies? Because creating inefficiencies is easier now. Like, you have a credit card. I'll put AI power behind stealing your credentials, right? I'll try to steal money from you. Then you will probably get an AI on your side just to beat it.
Yeah.
Right? Now energy is getting spent in the world for two AIs fighting against each other. Suddenly that thought experiment of what if an unstoppable force meets an unbreakable wall is happening all around us. Like AIs are fighting, and if AIs didn't exist and they were not so powerful, none of that would be happening. So is it a more efficient world going forward, or it can actually lead to a lot of inefficiencies which were not even needed?
I mean, inefficiencies are gonna exist, but that's gonna be like less than 1% of the overall productive evolution that's gonna happen. I mean, inefficiencies has been there in every system, like Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, whatever. But overall, the world has been growing towards a productive world.
Somehow the older arguments don't seem so valid in a lot of cases, right? Because the way it is hitting exponentials is also crazy.
Correct.
So I'm still in two minds. Like one thing says, so with the trend line currently, you cannot deny that probably you won't have any work in 10 years, which needs hard work. You won't really have to hard work.
Yeah.
Correct.
So then, let's say for example, to become someone like a Beatles or a Queens, like you don't really need to do hard work. You just have to have a creative sprint, or a moment of inspiration. It's not really about grinding 18 hours a day suddenly, correct? So what happens? How will the world look at that? Should we prepare for boredom right now?
We should prepare for being excessively entertained.
Excessively entertained, possible.
The whole world right now runs just on dopamine.
Yeah.
We eat for dopamine. We watch for dopamine. We do things for dopamine. I think these technologies coming in will take out the grind from our life so much that the dopamine influction would suddenly, like, you could just be entertained all day, and that feels like a probable future. And I think bad actors will always exist when some good actors are coming in to exponentially make efficiency better. But for majority of the population, the results are going to be exponentially great.
So like cable TV was there, suddenly OTT came. People started binge watching like fucks. Okay, so now OTT platforms have to move away from binge watching because so much binge watching is happening. So now suddenly episodes are getting released week by week, not just a story on one or two, but practically everywhere we see that. Now comes AI with an influx of infinite content because generative AI suddenly picks up. We again go back to binge watching. Of course we should go to binge watching.
Tailored to you. So we are trying to deal with technologies which our organic brain is unable to handle for the masses who are uneducated of the potential harm of this. And we all have seen that documentary called Social Dilemma, right? How this phone screen, the technology behind what we see on Instagram or Facebook, our brain is unable to comprehend. That is why bloody we are addicted to an hour of Instagram every day. Right? We just the ultimate inflection just means like we just have to merge with something which can help us combat what we have created. It's utopian and dystopian.
That's gonna be the next war: utopian versus dystopian. Let's see who takes over.
So we have seen in San Francisco, we have seen utopian and dystopian both.
Yeah.
On one hand, they're legalizing,
Coexisting.
they've legalized weed and drugs for recreational purpose and therapy as well for a lot of diseases where it gives calmness to anxiety patients and helps in Parkinson. And on the other hand, we saw a street full of homeless people just putting in needles and just ingesting drugs where they started to look like zombies. Utopia and dystopia, their organic brain could not control the dopamine that they were getting from these substances, so they just wanted more and more and more. However, it was utopia for some people.
Yeah.
It's ultimately
Let's see. Crazy times, good times
Yeah.
ahead with respect to AI.
what do you choose?
I don't know. Like, I think by the time we come out with the next Synapse Pod, which is focused on AI, like, what if the game has completely changed? And what if Elon's X AI
X.AI.
has come out and
Yeah.
is whatever thousands of
Maybe
GPUs
Alexa
are
is
coming
smarter
to.
and Siri is not dumb enough. Yeah, so next episode, guys, we wanted to cover it today as well, but we couldn't. We're going to talk about the new Reality Pro headset by Apple, which is going to launch in WWDC
5th June
5th June.
5th June. Yeah, nice.
expected.
Yeah, so we are really
It's
psyched about
It's
it.
been 7 years in development,
Yeah.
and let's see how it's going to look. And some people are saying it's going to be kick-ass. But
Yeah, some people are saying this is Tim Cook's only chance for an iPhone moment and immortalizing himself as Steve Jobs.
Can't wait for one more thing this
I
time.
know something. Cool. Thank you guys. Thank you for logging in. And this was the Synapse Pod. Hoping to see you back again soon next week. And until then, adios. Cheers. Bye.